Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey, and I'm going to share a little bit about a testimony from when I went to Mozambique this past summer with PV. And I do have a couple of photos to share with this, just to kind of help you guys visualize what it is that I'm talking about. And Brady, they should be somewhere back there. So a little bit of background just about myself and about this trip. I've been on a handful of mission trips. I've gone to Puerto Rico, Tanzania, and Mozambique now. And every time I've gone on a mission trip, I've walked away with a deeper understanding of the heart of God, which I feel like is a reason why a lot of us choose to go on mission trips, which is a beautiful thing, except when I came home from Mozambique this past summer, I felt very challenged as opposed to immediately encouraged. Also, a little bit more about myself. My suffering in life has been limited. I have a wonderful family. I have not experienced the kind of pain and suffering that the people of Mozambique that I got to visit with have experienced. And just to kind of tell you more about what PV does specifically in Mozambique, we partner with a school in the city of Shockway, and it's called Hauleka, and that means to be holy and set apart. There are hundreds of students who attend this school, and it was started by a woman named Sybil. If you've ever heard of Sybil's Kids, that is the program that we run here through PV to sponsor kids to go to school in Mozambique. Sybil moved from South Africa, which is a far more developed country, to Mozambique, to Shockway, which is an area where poverty and violence are very tragically a part of many children's lives. So on our trip, as her ministry partners, we got to do a lot of home visits, and we got to visit with some of the kids and families who members of PV sponsor financially and prayerfully so that they can attend school. These kids have gone through some extremely unimaginable things. This is a picture of a family. You can see 3 or 4 of the kids here. There's 2 adults and 7 children that live in the home that is pictured here. This is a house they built out of mud and sticks. And during the rainy season, this house could get completely wiped out, and they would have no way to prevent that. So in asking them for prayer requests, they asked for God to provide them with a new home, and that is something that I've never had to pray for in my lifetime. So it was really shocking. You can show the next photo too, Brady. That is another very similar situation. Again, 6 or 7 kids living in that probably 10 by 12 foot building that they built by hand. One provider, it was the oldest son. He would go out, he would work in the field, and he would come back with whatever pay he earned, and they would feed these kids. I could not tell the difference in age between these children because of how malnourished they were. Again, something I've never had to experience. A lot of these kids have very unique stories, all of them unimaginable. For example, some of them, their parents were killed in front of them. They've experienced rape. They've experienced incest. They've had to mother their own siblings who are just 4 or 5 years younger than them. They've experienced malnourishment. They have to sell items at the market so that they can provide for their families at just ages 6 or 7 or 8. The list goes on and on and on, yet at the same time, this was a group of people who are more vibrant and joyful than any other people group I've probably ever encountered in my life. Brady, if you wanted to show the next picture too, this is a little girl who has a awful story, like the worst of the worst. I can't even talk about it without it actually bringing tears to my eyes. And look at her joy. And she was always like that. She warmed up to us as we got to know her a little bit, but she's just a cutie too, isn't she? I can't imagine. It's even hard to empathize because of how tragic and serious the things that some of these people have gone through. And I, at times, felt guilty while we were there and when I came home for having the life that I have, because it's so good. I have a life full of people who love me and people who I love. I have food to eat. I have heat in my house when it's cold outside. I have air conditioning when it's hot outside. And I was so overwhelmed to recognize the abundance that I regularly get to live in after I came back from Mozambique. These people, you can just kind of flip through the next couple photos. And I think there's a video too, which we can look at. These kids, these beautiful, joyful kids have nothing. is what it seemed like to me. Yet look at their joy. You can play that video too, Brady, if you want. Oh, there's sound, but I don't know. It's okay if there's no sound. But they're singing. This was our last day. They gifted us. So this was all the teachers at the school sending us off. They gave us gifts and they sang us out with just total joy and gratitude for what little we were able to accomplish in the week we were there. We did so little, and the amount of gratitude and joy they showed us was incredible. And it just brought me to tears. It was just like indescribable, truly. But these kids, they seem to have nothing to me. They have no food. They have barely any shelter. They have mud homes. Some of them have no parents. There's no coffee shops in Mozambique. There's no shopping malls. Even the things we would think of negatively, like a sink full of dirty dishes, they don't have it. And I came to recognize after this trip, after weeks, months after this trip, it wasn't immediate. This took me so long to just be able to recognize the blessing of the abundance in my life. I have an abundance of goodness. Yet at the same time, I, because of this trip, can recognize the blessing of God's simple graces, like the sun rising every day, or the laughter of a child, or getting to play with your friends at school as a kid. The way that seemingly everything has been stripped away from the lives of these kids allowed for the gospel to show through in a way that was just so, so tangible. And the profound and simple and eternal joy of Jesus was the center of it all for all of them. Their faith was all that they had, and it shined brighter than any of the suffering or pain that a lot of these kids had seemed to have gone through. So during my time there, I learned that Jesus plus nothing is everything, truly. James chapter 1, verses 2-4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of various kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." I saw this so clearly in Mozambique. If you all want to be challenged in your faith like never before, go on a mission trip. Seeing God on the other side of the world just showed me that He is everywhere. Thank you.